Welcome. Welcome back to the Build Show. We're actually doing 2 builds in 1 week, which is amazing, given how slow it's been lately. There's no builds coming in. We got lots of estimates and quotes and things out there, but there are no builds coming in. Nobody wants to spend the crazy amount of money. As soon as the words that come out of my mouth that say, it's going to be $500 for 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM. It's weird. People just, poof, stop reading texts or emails. They stop responding. Lizard. Thank you. Really, the only feasible way you're going to build a PC today without spending $500 on DDR5 RAM, 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM, is by getting a Micro Center bundle, which is the CPU, the RAM, and the storage, or the CPU, the RAM, and the motherboard, sorry. But that does not include good RAM. That includes mediocre RAM. So, you want nice RAM, RAM with better timings, better fit for your CPU. I don't know why they choose the G.Skill FlareX CL36 kit. If they would just change that, maybe even increase the price by like $20, I don't care. Change the RAM. Not that it's bad RAM. Hey, what's up? Good afternoon, Intel guy. Welcome back to the Build Show. Tony, welcome back to the Build Show. Some giant idiot, welcome back to the Build Show. You tell clients to steal them from display builds at Best Buy and Wally World. I mean, we're getting to that point. We're getting to the point where I'm going to do that for my 64 gigs for my build. Because I refuse to spend, I'm watching it, it's still $800 for 64 gigs of the RAM that I want, which is basically this stuff, but 64 gigs of it. This is a 32 gig kit, which was almost $500. It's CL30. It's basic RAM. It's not even fancy on RAM with RGB. It's not the Trident Z Royal. There's no, well, there's probably gold on it, but I mean, it's not a golden nugget. You're better off going and digging in the backyard and finding a golden nugget than you are trying to find RAM at a reasonable price. The Costco I go to either took the RAM out of their displays or someone took them already. Somebody probably took them. I mean, let's be real. Somebody probably took them. Walmart is not that, or I'm sorry, Costco even though they're probably a little bit smarter, but Costco is not that smart. Oh, the price of RAM is so expensive, is more than the entire system here. We should pull the RAM out. They definitely did not think of that. Somebody walked in there, pulled the RAM, and then the Costco guy walks in. Oh, the new way it's not turning on. That is exactly what happened. Tony, I never thought I would say, but I'm glad I built your computer 2 months ago. Yeah, it saved a few dollars there at least, yeah. Yeah, why are you stealing from Costco? They have memberships. They know who walks through the door. Idiot. Let me badge in. And then badge in when I steal the RAM, and then badge out. Because that's how that worked. Although Costco probably had no idea what happened. Screw Best Buy and Walmart, but leave Costco alone. Leave Costco alone! Do you get my reference where I'm going with that? Some giant idiot. It's a very old reference. Back when social media was like just getting started. It shows my age. Alright, so we're going to be building a PC for Jake tonight. I know I said I was going to start around 8 and blah blah blah. I always try to do that. And then I never get started at 8. So here we are, an hour and a half later than my start time, building a PC for Jake. So we're probably going to go a little late on this one tonight. But the story behind Jake's computer is this big dude right here, which I hope works. But his buddy gave him a free 7900 XT, when this one is specifically the Power Color Hellhound variant. That is a beefy card. The Hellhound. So Jake came to me and he's like, well, I've got this card now and I kind of want to build a PC around it that will support this card. Well, we definitely got the support covered because we got the GB002 for the support bracket. That's the physical dad joke out of this entire build, as we got the support bracket to build the support around it. Okay. Anyway, so the GPU is going to be supported. That's great. Well, the rest of the rig is a Ryzen 7 7700X AM5 CPU. We've got the B650 Aurorus Elite AX, and yes, I did update the build command for everybody's awareness. That is updated. So anybody asking for specs, send them that way, please. Thank you. But the B650 Aurorus Elite AX motherboard, and actually that reminds me, I put an error on that build spit out. Anyway, doesn't matter. It's the same motherboard basically. But the Acer Predator GM7 1 terabyte, because we couldn't squeeze another $100 or no $150 to get 2 terabytes, because screw storage prices and screw RAM prices. And then of course the 32 gigs of DDR5 6000 CL30 by Cleve Bolt V, which is 5. So Bolt 5 series. Of course, we got our contact frame for our CPU, which is the AM5 Thermalright AM5 contact frame. We're going to be cooling the CPU with the Frozen Note by Thermalright. So lots of Thermalright products here off the rip, as well as lots of Montech products. This is a Montech Century 2. Let's see if you can see it. 850 watt gold. Modular power supply, and we're going to be putting this all in a Montech XR. So we got Montech for the power supply, Montech for the case, we got Thermalright for the cooler, Thermalright for the contact frame, and we'll be using some Arctic MX4 paste for the thermal paste. And then we have our donated, thank you Jake's buddy, 7900 XT, which is a beast of a card that he got from his buddy for free. I'm telling you, Jake is in debt. Lots of beers, lots of cases of beers to his buddy that gave him a 7900 XT. Whoever that buddy is, I need to go find him and accidentally bump into him in the public, you know, oh, I'm sorry. And then we start talking, we have a good time, and then I'm friends with him. Maybe that'll work someday, and somehow I'll get a 5090. Maybe that'll work. Anyway, that's a long game. Hey, what's up, Caden? Welcome back to the Build Show. Sir, thank you so much for making these builds. These streams make me so much happier. Thank you for what you do, and thank you for motivating the next generation of PC builders. Oh, thank you. Such kind words. You know, usually you're looking at the chat and you're expecting somebody to say, you said this wrong and you said that right, because it's the internet. Anytime you go on the internet and you say something wrong on the internet, you get flamed for it. But then you get kind words like that, and it's like, oh, didn't expect that. I don't know how you prepare. But thank you, Caden, for saying that. That was very, very nice of you. And educating the next generation. I don't know if I don't know how young are the followers here. Do we have any younglings? I don't even know. Are there any younglings in here? Anyway, not trying to. So I'm trying to. I'm 13. It's hard to believe. Emotional. Yeah, I'm probably 12 still too. My wife tells me that every day. But that's besides the point. All right, so let's get started with the build. I don't need to know your age. That was just kind of a joke. Ben, ever heard of an AIO pump only going 3,000 RPM at max? Yeah, it's probably the pump's limitation. Is 3,000 RPM. Probably the top. The top. Yes, I've seen that before. A lot of these Thermalright pumps, though, they have like a 4,500 max RPM, but there are pumps out there that don't go that fast, yes. I'm 21. I built my first computer when I was 14. Well, at least I know I'm at least reaching that generation, which is, I gotta think, 16 years behind me. I've been alive 16 years longer. That's scary to think about. All right. Isn't that kind of low? Nah. No, 3,000 is, I mean, as long as it's moving the liquid and staying cool, right? For all we know, it's got bigger fins and it's still moving the same amount of flow with less effort. Different fins on the pump. You never know. But most of them are the same pump style, which I'm drawing a blank on the name. Which is like the iconic, that's the pump that's being used for all AIOs. I've had my computer 1/3 of my life. Nice. Yeah, I've had mine, but I've upgraded it, of course, several times, and now I'm to the point where it's not even the same. It's definitely not the same computer. If it was the same case, I would count that as the same quote-unquote computer continued upgraded, but definitely well past that. I would not have stayed in that old case that I had started out with. No way. Aztec, thank you. The pump. Thank you. Thinking of like gold whenever I talk about it, and that's why, because I'm thinking of like Aztec gold, like Aztec, but it's the Aztec, S. Stare at that word long enough and tell me why they thought it was a good idea to call it what they called it. Very close to something else. Like, they started the company out as a joke, and then they stumbled across this great design for a pump, and then they had to stick the name because that's what they built the LLC on, and the I used a broken screen laptop hooked up monitor for years, and then I downloaded Cyberpunk OOPS. Oops. Oh yeah. That's when it all starts, when you download Cyberpunk. The PC of Thesis, when upgrading PC parts, is it still the same PC or is it the new PC? Yes, that is the question. I think if the case changes, then it's a new PC. Technically speaking, if we're on a technical term, if your motherboard changes, then technically that's a new PC, because that's like the heart. Because you put the motherboard in and everything can upgrade around that, limited to that inside the case. You can upgrade everything else. But that is like the anchor of your build, your motherboard. And then you could go along the lines, well, technically I upgraded it to go from a B650 to a X670, for example. And that was because I needed a bigger chipset. Does that mean it's still the same PC or is it new? Technically it's a new PC. Those are the technicalities around it, right? The reason why I ask is my buddy has a Skytech pre-built, and their brand new AIO maxes out at 3,000 RPM, with mine doing 5,400 RPM at 80%. Yeah, so the Thermalright pumps just are that much faster. It's different. I think it's a different style pump, isn't it? Doesn't the Thermalright have a different style pump? But I believe most of the Aztec pumps are like around 3,000 RPM, unless it's modified. All right, so let's get this build going, guys. I'm gonna text our guy because I don't know if I ever sent him a notification telling him I started the build. I hate the Google Pixel because it doesn't send you like notifications unless you open your phone. Like I have it set to like shush the notifications. As soon as I open my phone, I get blasted with like a bazillion notifications. That would take me a minute to figure out. Oh boy, give me a second, guys. I'm sorry. You know, I told you I opened my phone. It's dangerous to open this phone. Do. I don't have the link. Hold on. I don't have the link to my own YouTube video. Isn't that weird? Okay. We linked. We notified. We're building. Let's go. This is gonna drive me nuts if I don't fix it. Sorry. It's still crooked. Is it crooked or is it just me? Maybe my monitor's crooked. Whatever. Okay, forget about it. Okay, so we're gonna get all of this mounted to the motherboard. Something that does so. Oh, it's funny. We went from comparing FPS games with this system to mine, making fun of each other. Now, it's who has the cooler temps. Oh. So who has the cooler temps? I'm assuming you do, right? You have to be beating a Cyber Power. Or, iBuyPower? Or Skytech, sorry. Actually, Skytech isn't that bad. Skytech actually uses some decent stuff. It's actually impressive. Got it. Yeah, it's a little hot. A little toasty, not gonna lie, a little toasty. Wait, I didn't see the temps. Where are the temps? Did you say the temps? No, I don't think you said the temps. Okay, well, anyway. Let's do this. Build. Yeah, Skytech does use some decent hardware, so, and some pretty nice cases. Blizzard. Keep seeing that. I keep seeing that over on the Kick. Alright, I forgot Jake also asked me to save the boxes, so I'm going to do that for him. The best I can. So, we're going to open this bad boy up. Hopefully the camera doesn't fall straight into the pins. For some reason I think of that. That would suck. I think it would break more than just the pins. It's pretty heavy. Alright, so we're going to drop the CPU into the socket here. Literally just dropped it in there. And this 20 out and remove these. Drop our contact frame over it. I still have no feeling in these two fingers. My nerve is still whacked out. So when I'm operating a screwdriver, it's kind of weird. Really weird, because it feels like I'm not holding it, but at the same time I'm holding it. I can't really feel it. Quite a strange experience. BH. Alright. Next. We're going to put our 32 gigs of DDR5 6000 CL30, which we have 2 sticks, into slots A2 and B2 here. And then last, regarding this portion, we're going to install our 1TB GM7, which is a Gen 4 SSD by Acer Predator. And his plan is to add more storage later when he has more fundage. But working around that, This was the best way to maximize the performance with the dollars available and get him started. So later he can add more storage. He does have two, I believe, two additional M.2. Well, Tony, thank you for the resub over there on the Twitch side. Much appreciated, sir. 6 months subscribed. That is a crazy long time. He's working like it should. His is working like it should. His CPU just warm. His idle is 47C. That's not terrible. But he says I paid $1,100 for a 4070. 32 gigs, a decent motherboard? I never had an issue with mine. Oh, is that for the upgrade on the Skytech? Gotcha. That AIO that Skytech sells is probably a Cooler Master rebranded, I would assume. Or it could be another brand rebranded. But a lot of companies like that will offer to print logos on those AIOs for them. Manufacturers like Cooler Master, they do that all the time. But it's probably a Cooler Master pump if I were to guess. That would be my guess. Yeah. All right, so we have a motherboard that is completed. That is ready to go into the case. So go ahead and zoom out a bit. A little bit too much. And we will break the case out and we'll throw this in there. We do have to remember we are installing that. So I don't do those two screws. I actually put the bracket on. All right, let's get the case out. Apparently impossible to pull that out unless I push the side flaps, the handle flaps back in. The story behind this case is this is not actually the one that I was supposed to use for this build. The one I was supposed to use for this build is somewhere in a truck. In here in I don't even know where it is, but somewhere on a truck. So I had to go to Micro Center and pick up a case. So I told them I was going to do the build tonight. And then, of course, the case didn't show up. Like, screw it. I'll go to Micro Center and pick one up. But this is the Montech XR. The typical two-glass, front glass, side intake design. You have to peel these because this tape that's on here to hold the glass on during shipping is stuck to the peel. I could leave that on like that, but obnoxious to deal with. Peel it. Well, got a nice little electric heat aesthetically. Nice. They're just on there pretty good. Either that or just have a weak hand because of whatever's going on with my hand. Excuse me. One cable so quick. All right, now we could drop a motherboard in here. All of our studs are in place. We just need our screws. Try to use those. I like the Montech case. Yeah, the Montech cases are really nice. They're fancy. When did you build your first computer? I wish I could have been around when computers first came out. Would have been amazing. God. I was like 12 or 13 years old. I can't even remember the exact year. I'd have to do the math. Hold on. Would have been around like 2003 when I built my first computer. Like 2000, between 2000 and 2003. I got you playing on the projector. Took a second to set it up. Oh, nice. I'm on the big screen. Does everything look a little bigger? This right here, and then we gotta get the random tiny screw that just showed up here. I have no idea where it came from. That's concerned. Talking like ultra tiny. It almost looks like it. You know what this could have came from? This could have came from the SSD box. That is exactly where that came from. I just didn't catch that. Didn't catch it at all. I'm in the front rim. Got Alienware out where project here in the project, so I'm watching on Twitch and YouTube. Oh, nice, nice, nice. Okay, so the GB002 bracket we're going to be using for GPU support. Very easy to install, and it's very discreet, kind of in the back of the card, but it supports the back end of the card, whereas the front is supported by the case here, and the rest of it by the PCIe slot. So it's a very, very good design by Leon Lee. I think it's one of the best designs out there for GPU support brackets. But there are some motherboards that this doesn't like to work with very well anyway. And they do give you studs for both threads. Because some manufacturers use a different thread. Again, another smart thing by Leon Lee, providing you studs for both. Sucks for us people that use the majority of the same thread, have to pay for some weird company like NZXT uses a weird thread, a unique thread. Hello all. They should just put on there incompatible with NZXT. Maybe NZXT will start getting the message. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Welcome back to the Build Show, Ian. Hope you are also having a good weekend. Weekend's just getting started. Exactly. That is a side effect of my hand being numb. Exactly. There we go. So this bracket here gets installed, and then we will add these once we install the card, which has a lip which will support the weight of the card off of that bracket, off the mounting of the motherboard itself. So, like I said, super cool design by Leon Lee. And it's discreet, you can't really see it, it's very difficult. That hardware bag. Have one of these to mount. Okay, so next we can do some front panel stuff. I am lazy one for a change. Oh, nice. Good to be lazy once in a while. All right, so we've got front panel, USB 3 here, USB-C there, front panel HD audio here, and that should be pretty much it. Minus our RGB fans. That's the first time that ever happened. So we've got fans here, fans down here. Those are both of our options. And then RGB down there, or RGB up there. Required, but I'd prefer to reserve that for the AIO that we're going to be putting in. So we're going to do some work here and undo these twist ties. As we know, Thermalright and Montech are just addicted to twist ties. They're twist tie addicts. Insane how many twist ties you can find on one of their products. Let's just twist tie it. Twist tie it. I wonder if that's like a joke in their meetings. Twist tie it. Just twist tie it. Oh, you can just twist tie it. I like to send all the cables through as far through as I can and then flip it all over and plug it in. That way I don't have to flip the PC over and over and over, back and forth. Could do this standing up, but I like to use gravity to my advantage. Well, this is going to be a challenge. Every time I plug that one in. Every time. I have to do it like 3 different ways first. Okay. Next, we're going to throw our AIO in. You mean tweezers? Oh, yes. Well, I mean, this isn't the right channel for those terminologies. Sorry about that. Nice motherboard, yes. The epic Aurorus Elite series. A Gigabyte, the B650. Yeah, the Elite series, I've always liked the Elite series by Montech, or by Gigabyte. Holy crap. Y'all ready to do an AIO? Ben's favorite part of the build, the AIO. Only because Thermalright loves twist ties. You ready for this? You can see how many twist ties are on these ones. Came here for twist tie content. You came to the right place. Right, he wants to. Every single one of these cables, can you tell, is a separate twist tie. That's what I'm talking about. Here's your twist tie content. And putting both cables on a single twist tie, that would be way too much to ask. In fact, Thermalright's going to overachieve. Put each one on their own individual twist tie. In some cases, twist it 14 times. Because their twist gun got jammed or stuck or so. Who knows? Trying to undo twist ties with a bum hand. Let me tell you, it's an experience that if you haven't experienced it, you should definitely experience it before time goes far long. Highly recommended. You guys don't hear the sarcasm in my voice, I'm sorry. Do not know a better way of broadcasting sarcasm other than... Okay, let's get this. So what I did, if anybody caught that, I'm going to show you a little tricky trick that I do. Oop, wrong way. We don't want to zoom out. That's terrible. Little trick I do with these AIOs, because our pump is right here. It's an inline pump. So what that means is the pump is in line, and then we have this cable to deal with. This is going to be on the front of the build, so this cable is going to be hanging out in the front of the build where it's going to be very noticeable. So I don't want this cable to be noticeable. So what I do is I run it on the inside of the pump around the back of this fan here, and then I grab a zip tie right here, and I pull these taut. Things tight. Try to keep it snug like that, or it's not insanely tight. That will help keep that cable from dropping down and being visible. Might even go to the lengths of putting another. Now, the side effects of doing this is if I ever had to take this AIO out, or if Jake ever took this AIO, it would be a pain in the ass to take this AIO out if we just had to replace a fan. For example, oh, I just have to replace this one fan. Well, none of these cables are freed up. It's set up as a full unit. So that means in order to take one fan out, you're going to have to get to the back of it and clip one of these zip ties, which sucks. So that's the side effect of doing this. But it also keeps the cables from drooping down, and it looks a lot cleaner. So I sacrifice the simplicity of maintenance for the aesthetics a little bit there. So you are aware, if you ever did that, there's another twist tie on this. If you ever wanted to do that, be aware replacing a fan is a pain in the butt. All right, so little tip, trick of the trade. I don't know why more companies don't add like little lips on the backside. I guess even if we 3D printed something that split into a screw right here that's hung out like a washer style, slotted in right where the screw is, and it's just like a little hook that'll hold the cables up so it doesn't droop down. That'd be like an amazing, cool design for cable management. But now fancier fans have also come along, and now you don't have this fan wire mess. So, but for more budget-friendly coolers, it'd be a cool design. I think I've only ever seen that on one cooler. It was a very expensive cooler. EK cooler. Oh boy. Let's see here. The GOAT for AIOs, yes, the Frozen Note. Son-in-law wanted to borrow my skid steer. Oh boy. He wanted to pay me. I sent him a link for the new NAS drives I want. Then he sent this. Can't I just send it back to you with a full tank? Because it's cheaper. All the years I still haven't made the jump at an AIO. Nah, they're not needed. You could definitely run an air cooler and be happy with it, but it's mostly aesthetics and control of airflow. My 360 came with a solid fan, 3 fans, all in one. But the fans don't light up, so I changed it out anyway. Yeah. Some of them do. They've gotten niftier with the design, and then they run the cables down with the tubes, for example. That's a cool design. I like that if they can keep it clean, but not all of them do. So, I don't know, it's just like a 3D print idea. If anybody ever wanted to try to make something like that, that would be a cool idea to hold up your cables on the back end of your PIO. Just a cool idea. Cool idea with a logical use. Alright. Thing mounted. I'm gonna need to get those screws out before I get too far along here, or I'm gonna be kicking myself teeth. Come on. I'm gonna get these stupid brackets in here. Back into the bag. Get back in the bag. No, Intel, we're not choosing you. Get back in the bag. These Intel brackets, I always get excited. Like, oh, you're gonna use me? And then I don't use them, and I pull out the AMD brackets, and then they get all sad, and they want to fight me as I put them back in the bag. Feel bad for them, actually. They never get used. That one's directed towards you, Roy. It's sarcasm, don't worry. I like Intel. I'm actually super excited about the new Intel CPUs, by the way. They look promising. We'll leave it at that. Promising. Pump here. We could take care of the pump, get the pump plugged in. There. See, I can use my X-ray vision through these holes and plug it in. So another trick is get the cooler started by slightly threading one, slightly threading the other on the opposite end, and then the cooler will hold here while you can center it up nicely. And just another trick on this case, if you put the cooler and slide it all the way forward, too far forward, you won't be able to put the front panel on very easily. It's those push clips, push something or others. Just the ball push joints. Anyway, don't do that. Or refrain from pushing it all the way forward because it will block that and you won't be able to put the glass panel back on the front without sliding it. And if you're like me and you put all the screws on there, that means you have to undo every single one of these screws. I like how the new Intel Ultra Pros are speeding up the release of the 10. Oh yeah, pushing AMD. AMD's like, oh, look at this. Intel's trying to stay in this or get in the spotlight. And they're like, hold my beer. I'll take care of him. So the 10800X 3D. That's gonna be a weird one to say all the time. Not gonna lie, the 10800X 3D probably gonna cost like $1,000 because everything's $1,000. Ah, you want to do? You want more storage and computer? That'll be $1,000. What? Yeah, I had some an older customer. I'll just leave it at that. A wise old customer that I've had for a long time. He called me up and he's like, "Yeah, I got that older laptop, which is running an M.2 drive, that I helped him I serviced it like a long time ago. And he's like, yeah, I want to add more storage to it. I'm like, well, you only got one M.2 slot, so we would have to upgrade the storage, or you'd have to add external storage if you wanted more storage. And he's like, well, I want it to be like a bigger C drive. And I was like, okay, well, a 2 terabyte, gonna be around $350. And he said, what? I'm like, yeah, that's the life we live in right now. And I'm like, if you would have called me like a year ago, or even 6 months ago or less, it probably would have been like $100 for the storage. And it's a very easy job too, but just the back panel that has to come off to get to the storage, which is nice on the laptop. You know, the older laptops are also designed a lot nicer for servicing. The newer ones are just a pain in the ass. Okay, so we've got the cooler installed, mounted anyway. We still have to get the block mounted to the CPU, and then get the RGB plugged in, and fans plugged into the pack. But got the big portion of it done. More difficult part. We've got I don't want to see Roy say anything about this. Yeah, you should have got Intel. You wouldn't have those problems with that mount. The thing is you have to loosen these to get these on. But if you loosen them too far, they'll just fall right off. Yep. I'm gonna peel this bad boy off. Get our Arctic MX4 going. The good stuff. I'm just kidding. Oh, my hand is so weak I can't even open this tube. There's something seriously messed up with my hand. What is wrong with you? What happens for driving in a car for almost 40 hours in 4 days? You get numb fingers and weakness from holding the wheel. Sometimes I like to white knuckle when the wind is really bad and you're in a Suburban driving 80 miles an hour. That reminds me, from our trip down to Oklahoma, there's a stretch, I think it's between Missouri and Oklahoma somewhere. I think it's part of the I-44, but or it might not be, I don't know. or it's right before you get on the I-44 if you're heading east. But I call it the Oklahoma Autobahn, so it must be in Oklahoma because that's what I gave it that name. Hopper's movie with Lizard was good. Bring the girls to see it. Yeah, maybe we will. Maybe we will sometime. Thank you for the recommendation. I'll take a look at that. But the reason why I call it the Oklahoma Autobahn is because it's like 80 miles an hour and there's not very many roads, at least where I'm from here in Michigan, that are 80 miles an hour. I think the fastest freeway we have is I-75 at 75 miles an hour. Same with 69, I-69. No jokes there. That is the name of the freeway. It's I-69. No funny business there. An actual interstate in Michigan. And it goes right through the middle. Anyway, I guess it's not really the middle. It's kind of like the middle, more populated side of Michigan. But 75 is like speed limit. So here I am, getting uncomfortable after going 80, and these guys flying by me as if I'm standing still. And I'm like, what are we on, the Oklahoma Autobahn? Too fast, is my point. It's too fast. Too fast for my comfort. So bad for your motor to be running it that long at that kind of RPM anyway. Alright. She's starting to come together. We got that installed. All we got to do is deal with the cables for the AIOs on the back. Plug a card in, plug a power supply in. Finish mounting the support bracket. Plug all our power supply. Ah, crap! Okay, this is not my fault. This is everybody's fault here that didn't remind me to do this before. But what is the number one thing I should have done before I put this AIO in that I didn't do? Can anybody here tell me and identify what I didn't do that I should have done before I put this AIO in? I'm gonna start playing Jeopardy music. It's not what you did, Roy. Don't worry about it. I was just making fun of Intel and thought of you. There's really nothing left I could do to PCs. It's kind of depressing, so I've updated my thermal paste. No, it is not. I did get the thermal paste. If you guys didn't recall, I sniffed it too. I went, ah! Sticker? No. I did peel the sticker. The sticker is actually right here as evidence. I hold that from the trash can always to as a verification. So I peeled the peel and I put thermal paste on. Put CPU power in. Tom of PC got it right over there on YouTube. I forgot to put the EPS CPU power cables in, and it is almost nearly impossible to get your fingers in here to do that. And of course I brought the power supply out, so that kind of gave it a hint. Wonder if that was the answer. M.2, close. But power related. So that is the number one thing that you should always do in this style of case that has zero room in the top corner, because the cooler is overlapping the motherboard. If your case has that design, then you should definitely always put your EPS cables in before you install your AIO top mounted. Or you're going to do exactly what I'm going to have to do because you forgot. There is a process for everything. And sometimes, even if you've done it enough, you forget. This is going to sacrifice a few minutes. It's even a modular power supply, so it's even worse because I could have just slapped it in there. I'm gonna try to do it with them in there and see if I can get it. But with my current weak finger syndrome, weak hand syndrome, I might just pull the cooler to make it easier instead of trying to fight it. Oh, but don't worry, Montech has a twist tie on every single one of their modular cables. Twist tie content. So what I'm going to do here to make this go... What am I going to say? This is going to be painful regardless, so I'll just shut up. We're just going to undo all these screws and drop it like it's an oil pan. Budget. Here I was talking about how cool I am. I know how to install one of these. This is how you install it without making it so you can't install your glass panel. But this is how you install it and make it so you can't install your CPU cables. Power cables. That is exactly what I'm showing you is what not to do. This is a intentional mistake to make sure that you guys learn why you don't want to do this. Not really a mistake, it's just like a, oh, I should have done that. It won't take much, we just have to drop the IO, let it sit there for a second, and slide these cables in, and it's just going to make it 1,000 times easier. Do it this way versus trying to scoop there. Holy crap, that would be a pain in the butt. We'd probably still be sitting here all the way until tomorrow. That way. But you definitely want to do this before. If you don't want to, like, oh, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships from Tony over there on the YouTube. Much appreciated. My baby girl calls me today, says her car won't start. I asked her to show me on FaceTime. She did not have the car in park after my son-in-law tried to jumpstart it. Things happen. Oh, that's cute. Funny story, actually. My brother called me today, and his car wouldn't start. That's what I was doing earlier today. Ended up being a fuse. That was bad. Because he's got a leaky windshield, and his fuse box is inside the cab underneath the steering wheel. And water got down in there, and it actually didn't pop the fuse. The fuse is good, it's just the contacts are corroded. So, like, bro, you gotta get this fixed, man. I mean, don't you get soggy feet when you're driving around in the rain? Like, I really don't drive in the rain. Yeah. Actually, I don't know. He never said that. He never said that. I was just saying that. Oh, crap. Alright, so now that we got both the EPS cables in, that's what you're supposed to actually do. See how much extra work it is? Yeah, don't do what I just did. But it wasn't too bad. It was not too bad. It was manageable, limited frustration. Oh, been there before. We put plugs and points. Yes, I'm. Yeah, I guess if you don't have it all the way in the park, it's not going to really do anything other than give you power, but it's not going to try to turn over, right? It's just going to sit there and do nothing. It won't even. I don't even think you can put the key in, can you? No, you could put the key in. How'd you get the key out if it wasn't in park? That's the question. I don't think you could get the key out without it being in park. Can you? Or am I wrong on that? Can you get the key out while it's not in park? I gotta think about that. Maybe it's a keyless start. That could be also in play. I'm too old school to have a car like that, so I don't know what that's like. The keyless. Other than I know you have to be within a proximity for it to be able to push to start. Never mind, turn my head. I guess you are fixing. Good job, brother. Yes, I'm fixing it now. Thank you. It's one of them press to start cars. Gotcha. See, sometimes people, older technology is better because it's dumber in a way, but more mechanical so human brains can fathom it and keep us from making mistakes. Like people that don't want to understand, but no, put key in, turn, start. That's what I have to do to turn my car on. Put park, turn key, pull out. So without that, now you could get confused in the middle of the process if you're not a more tech savvy person to understand the process of what's happening behind it. I'm just saying the simplicity is gone. Everything is just complicated, over-engineered. It's just it's a complaint I've had for a while. I'm dealing with that actually in my contract position right now. Overly engineered shit. That's what I call it. The place is a engineering firm basically, so a lot of engineers there. Makes sense. Okay, so let's go ahead and get these sorted out. We need to make an RGB train here. We're actually really close to being done with this build. It's not going to take very long to do this cable management. Just a matter of getting our cables plugged in here on the back, getting our power supply in, and getting our graphics card installed. This hand is so messed up. I'm definitely gonna have to see somebody about my hand. This is very unpleasant. I have like weakness, an unexplainable weakness in this hand. Oh crap, I should have left that one, or did that one first, actually. But yeah, I should have, I have an unexplainable weakness in my hand from driving. And I have numbness in these two fingers, and it's a nerve in my elbow. I know what it is and why it's happening. It's like a pinched nerve from resting my elbow on a certain area of like the sill of the window for too long. And it feels like your funny bone is just constantly getting smashed, right? I gotta trade these. There's just constant numbing. It's annoying, to say the least. There we go. Nice and clean. We got our cables plugged in. All that's good stuff. Good in the hood. Yeah. Alright, let's put this. I have a 2004 Jeep JT. I'll have it till I die. Actually, we had a 2000 Jeep Liberty. That thing was a beast. But we had one problem with it. And that was when I was replacing the spark plug. It's got a boot that goes over, like a coil pack boot that goes over it, but it's a solo coil pack that has a connection from the wire itself separate, which is nice because it's replaceable. And I broke the screw, the mount that it mounts to, on the block itself. So now I had this loose boot. So every now and then you'd be driving around and then all of a sudden you're misfiring. You're like, why is it misfiring? And I'm like, I know why. I know why it's misfiring. Because the boot popped off the spark plug. That's exactly what happened. So couldn't fix that unless we put a new stud in. And to do that, you'd have to do more work than I was willing to do on it. This kind of a pain. I'll leave those out. Okay. Less of a mess, more things are plugged in than before, so here we go. Let's get our graphics card in there. And then our power supply. This is a 3-banger. Holy smokes. We've got 3-slot card. Might have underestimated this card size. Not gonna lie. I have no idea where that went. There it is. The Behemoth. The 7900 XT Hellhound. A little bit of fingerprints on here. Looks like somebody may have already been inside it. Shine up that bracket a little bit. But this was given to him by a buddy of his. It was a free card. Like I said earlier, I just need to figure out where friend is going to be. Okay, why is this card not sitting? Fiddling. In the public, then accidentally bump into him and be like, oh my gosh, hi, and then we become really good friends, and then later down the road, he gives me a 50/90 for free. You know, something like that would happen. Their friendship would be so amazing. I mean, this guy's friend, he just gave him a 7900 XT. That's a friend you gotta make sure you send him a Christmas card every year. You know, on his birthday you stop in, and even if it's like 1 a.m., stop in and you make sure you get that drink with him that on his birthday. Of course, 1 a.m. being the beginning of the day of his birthday. Because you can't see him later, you know. You get what I'm saying. Anyway. You gotta take care of that type of friend. Gives you 7900 XT. Not very many friends out there that will do that. Alright, so I'm going to put the bracket on, but what I don't want to do is put the bracket on and have it riding that fan, so I'm going to send it out a little bit. We're going to need the thin pad. Thin pad. That's a thick one. Yes, thin one. Thin one. Maybe one thick one. Medium thickness. Well, there's these little rubber pads we put on the placement that kind of gives the card a little bit of grip when it's resting on it, but also fills in the gap, small gap that there might be between the card height. There's 3 different sizes of pads that are included with this bracket. There's a thin, and there's a little bit more of a thicker, medium thickness option. Then there's the super thick option, of course, but we just need the medium option, it looks like. Oh shit. That is almost perfect. That will keep the card from sagging downwards on the back end. It'll protect the card, so that way Buddy will know for sure that the card is being taken care of while it's sitting inside this case. Inside his tower, it's not going to be harmed in any way. It's going to be staying perfectly straight. So a lot of times with heavier cards, they'll do a sag, and that'll actually bend the PCB. Which, if I look actually very carefully at it, the card has been in service for a little bit of time. So I could see a little bit of an arc on the card itself. If you look even closer down in the side, this thing definitely has had some sagging in its life. Very, very little bit, but not noticeable sag. That's what you want to avoid, because it can actually damage the card itself. 5090 beats a Hallmark card. Oh yeah. There you go. That is a friend you want to make sure you take care of. Who cares about you that much, though? Here's a 7900 XT. Have a nice day. That's pretty dope. Tama PC, nope. It was a 1983 Nova. Uh-oh. Side conversation. I know we've gone on a few side quests tonight because I'm drinking Red Bull. Been a long day. Did a lot of stuff today. But, okay. Power cables for the graphics card. No more side quests. Let's get this thing done. We're going to do one cable per slot. Obvious tray. right? I zip tie each of these with their own cable. The non-lazy way to do it, more aesthetically pleasing way. That. These are the pigtails that a lot of people just will cut them. I'm not a big fan of cutting them. I don't like it. Especially ones that can draw quite a bit of power. Alright. Alright. And we'll draw more to keep because it's as aesthetically pleasing as possible. We'll grab one more zip tie here and pinch these two together away. They don't look like they're separating. What I want to hold it. Doesn't have to be tight. Holds it in place there. Not going to go anywhere. Then you have this really nice looking flat cable going to the graphics card, hiding the pigtails. Of course, you can see it in the front here that their pigtails are there, but not much you can do about that unless you cut them. Alright. Last thing to do is install the power supply. We're going to do this with the tower standing up. That's going to be the easy way because it's using gravity to our advantage. Pretty sure our screws are in that bag. But the Montech power supply, cool design. Actually, good fan of them. Right now they're on sale. These 850 watts, you can get them for like $82, which is a steal for an 850 watt modular PCIe 5.0. ATX 3.0 power. In other words, they're usually like around $100. I did not mean to. Okay, let's get this thing mounted. Do we put all the cables in there or do we keep them separate? Nice. We're doing the fan down because we do have the ventilation on the bottom of the case. All right. Cable managements, and then we're gonna fire this thing up for the first time. I don't know if Jake's actually here in the chat or not. I haven't seen him once, unless he's somebody I'm not identifying. Oh, or didn't catch. Yeah, there's just this one cable, which is the RGB cable to the back fan, that we cannot run from here to here without it getting some sort of slack somewhere. It's actually in two areas, slack. And there's nothing we can do about it. Unless I got an extension cable, I guess, but... or just got a fan with a longer cable. That doesn't make any sense for the fan, for the cables in the back. It just doesn't really matter too much. So as long as they're tidy. Stating as to why I had to leave that one the way it is. Just simply because there is not enough blacks around. Okay, that's pretty much it. There's not a whole lot more to do here. Except for fire this bad boy up. I just broke that zip tie. I knew that zip tie wasn't gonna work. Freaking old English case. Alright. I stuffed a little bit of cables in the hard drive cage, but oh well. This thing's pretty heavy. Pretty heavy. Okay. You guys ready to fire this thing up? Arctic P12 Pros on a frozen note is chef's kiss. I almost said chief. I have no idea why. Probably getting tired. Yeah, the P12, any of the Arctic Pros case fans are good. I do agree. That HDMI cable did not want to go in very easily. Anyway. Alright, let's get that side. Oh, nice. Half the wall. There's Ben. And let's reposition the camera slightly down. Here we are. A little bit better. There. And let's see if we get some focus. That's pretty good. All right, let's punch it. You guys ready to fire this thing up or what? Looking good, yeah. Light it up, brother. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Looking good. Got the old post. Looking bad. All right, so we got a post. With that being said, I could just stick the drive in. Let's pick it up. Oh. Guy's super excited to come get it. He's like, will it be done tomorrow? I told him I would probably have it done Sunday. So, bunch of drive in there, right? Let's get Windows loaded. But we're pretty much done. I mean, we got it posted. That's what we needed. The build is done. Oh, what's up, Mama Sami TTV? Hey, welcome to the build show. And it's your first time chat over there on the Twitch. Hello, I just recently got a PC and would love your opinion on it and what I should upgrade. Feel free to drop the specs in the chat and I can guide you. Also, ! Discord will get you on our Discord channel. That'll be the best way to really communicate with me and also fellow nerds and PC builders in that group that will share opinions and provide advice, friendly advice. And those are all trusted people. Intel Core i9 9900K, NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3060 Ti. Okay, so this build, the core behind it, the Intel Core i9 9900K, that's showing its age now. That is an older platform, which is LGA, what was it before 1200? 1150 something. But it's an older socket is what that means, and it's on an older platform. So your motherboard is limited to what CPU you can get, and a 9th generation on those motherboards, which was the 300 series, and yeah, the 300 series chipset. Am I right? Limited to the 9000 series and 8000 series CPUs by Intel. Those are struggling with stuff today. Although the 9900K is still a very powerful CPU. I think it's just more of like a feature set thing. It doesn't have Gen 4, PCIe Gen 4. It's a PCIe Gen 3 CPU and platform. So it's not something you could change without changing your motherboard, your CPU, and your RAM. Anyway, a little bit of knowledge around your PC. It's an older platform, which means upgrading it is going to be basically a new CPU, a new motherboard, and a new RAM. So you're already spending the cost of half a PC right there. Especially if you want to keep it in the same, like for example, you have a Core i9 and you want to go to the i9 series or the 9 series from the core, if you want to stay in the Intel family, or if you want to switch to AMD, it would be a Ryzen 9 in the same family or tier level. You're going to be spending quite a bit of money on that. It's going to be upwards towards $1,100, $1,200 just for the CPU, motherboard, and RAM if you wanted to stay in the same tier. Now, you can do it for a lot cheaper and then upgrade later by jumping down a few tiers on the CPU, like a Intel i5 or a Ryzen 5, as an example, to get you set up on the new platform, and then later down the road re-upgrade the CPU to something newer. The problem with Intel is you're going to have limited upgrades between that time, just like you're having the issue right now. You're on an older platform that only supported 2 CPU releases, and those are long gone and outdated, or starting to become outdated. Versus AMD, that's been around for a long time. AIM-4 is still even being used today, just as an example. So I would recommend, if you're looking for the longevity, maybe consider switching to AMD for longer. Intel fam. This is over on Twitch, Roy. Roy over on YouTube is telling you to go with the new Core Ultra series. But in my opinion, if you're looking for longevity of upgrades, AMD is the way to go. But yeah, I mean, the system isn't bad. It's an Intel Core i9 9900K with a GeForce RTX 3060 Ti, 32 gigs of DDR5, 1 terabyte Samsung 980 Pro, which is a Gen 4 drive, I believe. So it's a Gen 4 drive on a Gen 3 platform. 1 terabyte Western Digital hard drive, which is definitely something you need to get rid of unless you're using it for bulk storage. And then home Windows 10 64-bit. So you're on Windows 10 Home. I think that CPU does not have the Windows 11 support. So I'm basically looking for a long-term gaming streaming PC. I got this one to start off with an upgrade within time. I mean, it sounds like you just got it. I don't know. Yeah, you mentioned you recently got it. Probably on Marketplace, I'm assuming. Facebook or some used marketplace. I don't know how much you paid for it, but you shouldn't have paid. I wouldn't have paid anything over like $800 for it. 800 would be like the high. Oh, 500? Okay, good. You got it. You got a really good deal on that then for $500. Wait for Nova Lake, stay with the Intel fam. Well, that's your biggest bottleneck on the system, is the platform that you're on. You really can't go any higher on the CPU, so that you're at the ceiling of that platform right now. So the only way to upgrade the CPU to a better platform and unlock a bunch of new features, like PCIe Gen 5 or PCIe Gen 4, that platform doesn't support, is to move the platform. So, and in order to do that, you're going to be doing a motherboard, a CPU, and RAM, which is a pretty significant investment for the upgrade. It's almost half a PC at that point. And then to really enjoy the benefits of that, getting a upgraded SSD like a Gen 5 or a Gen 4 SSD to really, especially if you're streaming, I'm assuming that means you're going to be video editing, getting that Gen 5 SSD, PCIe Gen 5 or 5.0, that you'll notice when you're copying and moving video files around, it's going to be a lot faster. So everything's going to be way snappier. It's double the speed of a Gen 4 drive, and you're running in Gen 3. So Gen 3, Gen 4, Gen 5. Gen 5 is double Gen 4. Gen 4 is double Gen 3. Just to give you an idea of how much faster it's going to be. It's going to be like 3 times faster. Yes, I understand a 2 terabyte Gen 5 drive costs more than their whole computer. Hopefully, when she comes around, or when she comes around to upgrading, she'll have a better price. Right now, it is dumb. It is dumb expensive. But if you want to join the Discord, whenever you're ready to have questions around PCs and upgrades, you're more than welcome to join the Discord and drop the questions there as well. Or you just follow the channel and come back and ask here. But on the Discord channel, there's tons of people that are knowledgeable around this stuff. If I'm not available for some reason, if I get hit by a bus, who knows? Oh, thank you for the follow. But that's the struggle with that scenario, is you get a really good deal on that PC, and it's a pretty good deal. $500 for an i9, even though it's a 9900K, an RTX 3060 Ti, which is an 8GB graphics card, 32 gigs of DDR4 RAM, which is, I mean, he could have pulled that out and sold that for like $200 alone. My point is, you see a lot of those good deals out there on those systems, and you know they're still usable systems. They're not, you know, bad systems. They're aging, so it's hard to decide, like, oh well, if I buy this, then I'm gonna have to basically rebuild the whole thing when I'm over time. But it gets you on the platform to start, which is cool. So whoever sold you that, they did you a solid. They gave you a really good deal on it. So, oh nice, welcome to the Discord channel. Welcome to the family, the Empower family. What is your video card? Maybe she could update that. Otherwise, it's the RTX 3060 Ti is what she has in there right now, which is an 8GB graphics card. And the 3060 Ti is still very playable. Streaming probably is struggling. That's one thing that you could definitely upgrade, is the video card right now, and that will give you the most impactful performance on that platform. But you will notice a bottleneck on your CPU once you start getting past like a 5070, or even with a 5060 Ti. I think you would notice a bottleneck. But that would be the most impactful upgrade immediately that you could carry over to the new platform, is a graphics card. So that's a good call, Tony. I'm just more like long game thinking. The platform is like the #1 bottleneck of that entire system. But if she's looking for like immediate impact, graphics card is going to be the best thing to upgrade it right now. And still going to be expensive. So either way, either any upgrade you do right now, it's just going to be stupid expensive. But getting to like a 5060 Ti 16GB graphics card, that would be super beneficial, especially depending on what games you play and stream. So I guess I don't know what games you play or stream, or what your content is. That'd probably be like a good thing to know for further advice. Oh. Ah, shit. Hold on, guys. I got somebody here picking up fans right now. Hold on. Holy smokes. Sorry about that. Hey man, I'm outside to buy the fans. That's funny. Anyway. So he was just coming. I had some Corsair fans from an old system posted on Marketplace, Facebook. And he's been chatting with me about coming to pick him up. And he didn't really have a good time to come pick him up. I don't know what his schedule's like, but he just was swinging by to pick him up. And I was going to be up late anyway, so I was like, yeah, no problem. I just thought the stream would be done by now. So here we are. Anyway, we got the build done, so that's cool. So Jake, I will work to get this completed for you tomorrow and have this ready for pickup at some point tomorrow. So just wait for the text. I'll text you and let you know when it's ready for pickup. If you are here watching, I don't know if you are or not, but we got it posted. We got it Windows installed. Sorry, I didn't see all these. Oh, there's more chats over here. Let me ship you my PC and you can give me a price to upgrade it. Oh, just kidding. Prices are crazy right now. Yeah, I could give you a quote before you even ship it. I could tell you exactly what you're going to need. You said you mainly play Fortnite and Dead by Daylight. So those aren't extremely demanding titles. Fortnite is slightly, but I mean, you could run Fortnite on a smart fridge right now. But, so it doesn't take much to run that. So you have a pretty decent PC to run what you're trying to run and stream. I mean, it'll get the job done. So I guess it just comes down to how much money do you want to invest in it to make it better at that point. Do you think the PC will be able to handle 2 monitors? Oh yeah, it'll handle, I think, 4 on that card. Limited to your resolution, of course. So if you go to like 8K, 4 8K resolution, or 4 8K monitors, it might not display all 4 of them because there's a limit. I don't remember the limitation on that card because it's been a while since I've talked about that particular card. But every card has a limit, so just keep that in mind. If you did 2K 1440p monitors, it would probably be just fine. Well, definitely would be just fine. So you should definitely go 1440p is the recommendation, especially if you're planning to upgrade in the future. So even though right now what you have is definitely a 1080p rig. So what you're going to do is buy 1440p monitors so that in the future when you upgrade your PC, you'll have 1440p panels that'll be compatible and better ran on your new PC. So it's kind of like investing for the future upgrades, so to speak. You could get away with cheaper 1080p panels because that's about all your PC should be running is 1080p. You should not be trying to run 1440p on that PC. You'll get way better frames in 1080p. So even though you have 1440p panels, you can run the games, the titles in 1080p. It'll be supported on the 1440p panels, if that makes sense. Hey, what's up? Just No Gaming. Welcome back to the Build Show, sir. Hey, what's up, Killa over there on the Kick? Welcome back to the Build Show. Happy Saturday. Yes, sir. Business first. Sometimes business first. Usually customer first, always. So if a customer is messaging me, I'm trying to respond to them, even if I'm live on stream. I try. So, which reminds me, I've got. Gotta look this up real quick. There we go. That's what I was trying to do right before he pulled up. But anyway, I'm glad you caught on that I was streaming and that you came into the chat and messaged me here, because that's what told me to go look at my phone. 60 to 75 hertz is not that great, huh? No, it's not. That's more of an office style monitor. Just for daily web browsing, email, etc. If you want a performance monitor, 165 hertz would be my minimum recommendation. 165 hertz, especially in 1080p or 1440p. You can try to get a little higher, but that is the ideal performance. Basically, what's happening with your monitor, mama, is you have frames per second that are being pushed out from your graphics card. If you're pushing 100, let's just theoretically, I'm not saying your system will do this or whatnot, but theoretically, if your system is pushing at 120 frames per second, FPS, but your monitor is only a 60 hertz monitor, the 120 frames per second is just being forgotten. Your screen is only going to show 60 of those frames per second of the 120. So, meaning your monitor is now the bottleneck on that process to deliver the frames per second to the screen. That's the problem. So why have this great computer if that's pumping out 120 FPS when your monitor is only going to be displaying 60, which is slower? It's like having a race car. Let's say you have a Dodge Challenger or a Hellcat, and you have bald tires. That's basically what you have. You're just spinning your tires and you're not able to go anywhere, even though you have all this horsepower. You're not utilizing the horsepower. Inefficient. So that's the best way to kind of describe what's happening in that scenario. So it's better, I mean, if those are the monitors you start out with, great, you can start out with them, but definitely think about upgrading those to maximize the frames per second on your screen, because that'll definitely help you in a competitive nature, especially if you're streaming and you're playing competitively. You'll want that edge. It helps a lot, especially because everybody else is doing it. So hard to compete when you're looking. I mean, unless you're like me, you're just old school and you'd like. I mean, maybe that fits you. I have no idea. I'm old school. I grew up with CRT monitors, so, and we didn't have wide screens. We had the squares, and that was the thing back then, even when LCD panels came out. All right. So yeah, we're pretty much done here, guys. I'd say if you want to chat more, Mama, about your PC and the upgrades, feel free to hit me up on the Discord channel. I'd be happy to help you out there. And Jake, I'll be in touch with you in regards to your build here. Congratulations, sir. I should have it ready at some point tomorrow. Just look for the text saying it's ready for pickup. And then, yeah, next stream, I really don't have any other builds slated, unfortunately. It's been slow, and that is because of the price of everything. So funny enough, Mama, I've actually tested that brand. It works. It's an off-brand. So just so you know, when you're buying that brand, that's an off-brand. Brands that are not off-brand is going to be like Samsung, Acer, Asus, LG, Dell. Dell actually has some pretty cool monitors, but just an idea, you know, those are name brands. The brand you're talking about, Corio, I actually tested. That is an off-brand cheap monitor, and you pay what you get what you pay for. You pay what you get. you get what you pay for. And one of the side effects of that monitor is when it's asleep, just so you get an idea of what the side effect might be, the monitor performs flawlessly, which is great, and the performance is great on it. It's smooth, it's crisp, it works great. I didn't have any dead pixels. The problem that I ran into with that monitor is when Windows 11 or Windows 10 goes to sleep, it goes dun-dun every like 5 seconds, and it's got something to do with the signal from the monitor to the PC telling the monitor that it's going to sleep, or the PC's going to sleep, or the screen's going to sleep. So just be just think of that type of weird bug might happen on a it's not impacting the performance or the result of the monitor at all. It's just an annoyance. Like you're sitting there and you got your speakers on, and all of a sudden it goes dun 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 every 5 minutes. Super annoying. One thing you could do to solve something like that is just tell the monitor not to go to sleep and then manually shut it off if you had to. But that's with the monitor going to sleep and the PC staying on. The monitor goes to a black screen because you haven't touched it in 5 minutes, etc. Ian says the 1080p monitors are good for the second monitors for browsing, etc. Yeah, you could definitely do 1440p for your gaming monitor, and then you could use a different, lesser quality monitor for your second. You don't have to have both the same exact high-performance monitors. You can have mixed monitors in this scenario. Aesthetically, it will look different, meaning you won't have exactly the same monitors, and some people prefer to have the exact monitors on their setup. But you could use mixed monitors, so you could have one nice expensive one and then one super cheap one. So, and then run all your games on the more expensive one with the better performance. Yes, yeah, the 144 and or 240 hertz would be the better monitor. Yes, but you could, like I said, 165 hertz is kind of like the. It's what I would target, at least minimum. 144 to 165. That's a good place to be for gaming. You'll enjoy it. And also, your millisecond response time is a big deal on, yes, Asus is a named brand, yes. More expensive, but they are generally a very good monitor. It's actually, I'm running that as my primary gaming monitor right now as an Asus monitor. So, definitely a good brand. Oh, thank you. Azuka. Yo, what's up, man? Thank you for the follow over there on the Twitch side, too. I had to drop a follow. I bought a Sceptre. I can't even pronounce this brand name. It's like Sceptre 1440. Figured I could send it back if I had major problems. So far, I love it. Yeah, no, that's actually like the good, almost named brand, I would call it. Like, it's been around long enough to be a trusted brand. They've been around for a while. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you can use the Asus for your gaming monitor, and then the cheaper Acer monitor for your chat and Discord and managing your stream, etc. You will find the more monitors you have, the better in a streaming scenario. Because sometimes people like to have Discord up there, and the next one managing your chat, and the next one your game. When you're streaming, there is no such thing as too many monitors. The less things you have to deal with opening and closing while you're streaming, the better. Just moving your eyes around, looking at the stuff you need to see, the information you need to access, it already being up on a screen is so useful. It's all good, man. We're just wrapping up the build right now, so I actually just installed Windows on it. But yeah, it's definitely built, so we gotta get the software side, the BIOS, and all that stuff sorted out for him, so he's got a solid rig to fire up and run a game on tomorrow. If you don't mind me asking, what it was the budget for that PC? So this PC right here, he actually got the graphics card for free from a friend. I know. I'm sitting here like, I gotta accidentally, I've said this 3 times on the stream now, so everybody's like, oh my gosh, here we go again. But like I said before, I gotta accidentally meet the guy that gave him this card in public. Just make it an accident meeting, you know, like, oh, and then we start talking, we find out we have a lot of common, we become friends. Next thing you know, he's giving me an RTX 5090, which is, for those of you who don't know, $3,400 graphics card right now. But the 7900 XT graphics card he's got in here that he gave to his friend is like, I don't know, like a $700, $800 graphics card right now, or what is it, 600, 800? I don't know, somewhere in between there. That's a really good friend. That's the type of friend you got to take care of. You got to make sure you send him that Christmas card, show up on his birthday and make sure he has a birthday drink, etc., etc. So, but so he got the card for free. The rest of the build came out to close to $1,500 with the CPU, the RAM, the motherboard. We did not get a Micro Center bundle on this because we wanted the faster, better RAM, CL30 instead of the CL36, and the Elite motherboard, which is a better motherboard than what would come in the bundle. It's got a little bit more feature on it for future upgrades, etc. Just all around a more upgradable system. In my opinion, better RAM for AMD. But you guys notice that the RGB isn't on the block? I just caught that. I just noticed there's no RGB on that. Oh, it is. Just being reflected by the monitor. Never mind. Monitor reflection. But yeah, that's what he put into it. Yes, for real. That is the price of today's prep right now. It's just DDR5 RAM, 32 gigs for a nice kit is going to be around $500. You may as well just close your checkbook right there. And then a 2 terabyte SSD, Gen 4 is like $350 right now. A decent one is probably closer to $400. And then a Gen 5 drive is probably somewhere in the 400 plus range. I don't even know. I have just stopped looking at prices because nobody's asking for this stuff. 500, not too bad. $500. It's just stupid expensive, man. I tried to put a 2 terabyte in this and it was just over budget, over budget, over budget. Yeah, I wish that was cheap money. I mean, everywhere in the world thinks it's cheap money right now, but we're over here like, what the what? We don't have disposable income like that. At least I don't. I don't have disposable income like that. It's insane to me. So let's say when I'm ready and want to upgrade stuff on my PC and my budget is $2K, what do you recommend? Well, definitely go with the platform upgrade. Let's assume the power supply is a good power supply. I don't know if you said what your power supply was in there or not, and I can't see the chat anymore. But if you have a decent enough power supply, then you could use your case and your power supply. You could upgrade your motherboard, your CPU, your RAM. I would get to like a Ryzen 7 7700X minimum, or a 9700X on a B850 or B650 motherboard, and 32 gigs minimum DDR5. And that will get you on the AM5 platform. And or you could go the Intel route, maybe save a few bucks on the CPU, but you are going to be limited in future upgrades, most likely, with the Intel platforms being very limited with upgrades. That'll get you on the AM5 platform, and you could definitely do a 2 terabyte Gen 4 drive for more storage, even because you have 1 terabyte SSD and 1 terabyte hard drive on your current system. You could reuse your 1 terabyte SSD that you have. The hard drive I would phase out unless you need that for like archive storage for like videos and stuff. You can put that in there. It's just slow. That's the downside of that hard drive. It's just really slow. Putting games on that hard drive and loading in the games during your stream, you're going to find out you're going to be the last one loading into a game every time. So getting your games on an SSD for the stream is going to be beneficial. Separating your OS from your games is even better, because your OS is going to be on one SSD and then your games will be on another. So keeping the OS on the 1 terabyte that you have would work, and then adding the 2 terabyte for more of your game library would be ideal. Or even a second 1 terabyte if it's too expensive, just as an example. But that'll get you 2 terabytes of M.2 storage, and you could utilize it. Then the graphics card. 5060 Ti, 16 gigabyte would be ideal for most of today's games. 16 gigabytes of VRAM will get you enough VRAM to satisfy today's games and also a lot of future games for a couple of years to go. So versus the 8, so it literally doubles your VRAM. I said that because I see RAM for like 1.4 thousand, yeah, $1,400, yeah. Well, 64 gigs or 128 gigs. 64 gigs around $800, 128 is probably around 1,400 would be what it is right now. To be exact, now 32. Yeah, 16 gigabytes soon become the minimum. Oh, 16 gigabytes is pretty much already the minimum. You can't really do much with 8 gigs of RAM anymore. You run an OS, Windows 11 with all the latest updates, and run Discord and maybe a browser, and you're at 8 gigs of RAM. Easily. Kind of sad. That 8 gigs is like barely enough to just run the basics. So definitely for gaming, 16 gigabytes is the minimum. You cannot game without more than 16, or at least 16. I mean, you can. It's just going to be a poor experience. No, I mean VRAM. Oh, yeah. Sorry. VRAM, yes. VRAM is, well, no, I disagree with that. 8 gigabytes is enough to game still. And a lot of people have been watching too much YouTube videos saying 8 gigabytes is not enough. Yes, it's going to max out. Yes, you're going to have a bottleneck, but no, it doesn't mean the game's not going to run. This means you have to lower your settings. Once you get to a point where 8 gigabytes can't run a game on the lowest settings in 1080p or 1440p, that means it's time to switch over to 16. And that means 8 gigabytes is not enough on a graphics card. And I'm not talking about the difference between an RX 580 versus a RTX 5060. There's a massive difference because of the difference in technology being DLSS also being involved. So you could definitely run an 8 gigabyte graphics card and still really enjoy PC gaming. So it's not limited yet. I guess that's what I'm saying. It has not been phased out yet. There is still time. I'm running an 8 gigabyte graphics card, so I'm also the person in denial. I don't want to believe this. This isn't true. I mean, yeah, there will be a day where 8 gigabytes is not enough. We said the same thing about 6 gigabytes, and 6 gigabytes pretty much is not enough today. You gotta have 8 gigabytes. 4 gigabytes is definitely not enough. 6 gigabytes barely. It's like you're noticing major bottlenecks on that card. Yo, what's up? What's up, Squeeze? Welcome back to the build show, sir. 8 GB ain't enough. Here we go. Yeah, we're talking about VRAM, VRAM, VRAM. Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. I went through the same process right there, where I was like, 8 GB ain't enough. Oh, shoot, we're on 8.5. H50. Oh, we're talking. Then I went from that to a 7900 XT with 20 gigabytes. Oh, I remember I had an RX 570 with 4 gigabytes of VRAM. Yeah, I mean, you basically went from like a Dodge Neon to a Hellcat. You're like, whoa, I didn't know this much VRAM was possible. Like, starting the engine, you're like, oh, getting goosebumps. My GTX 1060 uses VRAM from the other GPU in my PC 1050 Ti, so I have 10 gigabytes of VRAM total. It doesn't work like that. Maybe for like rendering you could do something like that, but not games. Games aren't going to support that. But whoever reads that, so you know. For rendering, maybe you can utilize both cards and share the VRAM, maybe. I think there's ways to do that. Hell yeah. My brain just turned off. It's restarting. Hold on a second. I need my BIOS. Need my BIOS stick. It's so weird typing with with 2 numb fingers. It is so weird. From that drive, if you're wondering, drove to Oklahoma and back. That's 40 hours in a car in 4 days. I do not recommend ever doing that, especially if you're over 35. Do. Still numb. Yep. From holding the wheel. You know? It's actually from leaning my elbow on the windowsill. And it, unfortunately, I think pinched a nerve in my elbow, so I'm just waiting for the nerve to come back to life. Since we're on the topic of PC, I want to ask a question. Go ahead and shoot. Hit me. I'm just installing all the software that we need for this. We got time. I'll stay alive and hang out for a bit, I don't care. Wallpaper. We just cycled. That's 2 hours and 36 minutes-ish. Why does latency feel so noticeable on a keyboard and mouse, and it feels less noticeable on a controller? Are you wireless, or are you wired on your keyboard and mouse? First question. Back to you. Because there is zero latency on a keyboard mouse that is wired. I think you're just used to it on the controller, to be honest. Especially if you played console on a TV before, and then you switched to controller on a computer. It probably felt more responsive, and it actually was because your screen was smoother rather than your controller being faster. Wireless keyboard and mouse, that's your problem. Get rid of the wireless keyboard and mouse, or go with the Logitech Lightning, whatever they call it, technology, and that'll solve your well, wired on my keyboard and wireless on my mouse. The mouse has probably got the latency, the keyboard probably doesn't. You just feel it. Some Mac user was showing off his 32 gigs of storage and 32 gigs of RAM, I'm assuming, and 512 gigabyte SSD Mac Studio earlier, thinking I had 16 gigs of RAM. Guy called me broke. My RAM cost as much as his Mac. Tony says, I was just pissed off. I wasn't gonna let them stop me from building a PC. I spent a load of money. I'm all by myself. I got no kids. I got no car payments. I'll be okay. Just had do it to prove I could. However, 2 months later, I would never build a PC. I'd wait for the Steam box. Yeah. I don't know how good the Steam box is going to be, though. That's what they're trying to drive us into more of a streaming platform so that we could use the farms that they're building. That's what they want us to do, is go into more of a streaming platform instead of building our own PCs, ultimately. Because that's reoccurring revenue versus I bought my PC and I don't have to buy it for 5 years. But if they can convert that to a subscription to have your PC, they'll make more money. Exactly what's happening. All about the money. I know it's not the stream or the Steam box being a stream service. I'm just going off a tangent on that. I don't know how good the Steam box is going to be for $1,000. I mean, the hardware is same thing as a PC. Nice. Oh, son of a... I mean, son of a beehive and a basket full of bumblebees. Nobody heard that. I don't know why, but this motherboard's BIOS that I just went and looked up says it's not right. Revision 1.2. Sometimes I hate gigabytes in their revisions. I've got revision 1.112 version 1.8 BB. Oh yeah, it would destroy a lot of jobs. No, you didn't. You didn't hear it. I can't update my BIOS because I can only get it from ASUS, and ASUS wants the motherboard serial number to get the BIOS, but when I put the serial number in, it doesn't work. At least my motherboard was made in October of 2024. Well, it's probably, you're looking at the wrong sticker for the serial number. They have it in a weird spot. It's like, I want to say it's on the 24 pin. Or it's somewhere in a weird spot. You're probably just looking at the wrong sticker for the serial number, to be honest. I've seen that before. I've had to help somebody with that before. Very easily mistaken. And they don't do a very good job defining where the serial number is on motherboards and stuff because they move them. It's stupid. But if you need help finding that, just let me know and we can track it down on the board and figure it out. If you give me your model, I'll look it up. Shoot me a message on the Discord. It's going to be the best way to do that. Okay, let's try this BIOS. Okay, it worked, thank goodness. Some... Yeah, that also determines, you know, is it worth it? Tony. Are you going to use it? If you're not going to use it, then yeah, maybe. I don't know. Bought it on sale for $800. I'm a little disappointed in my Asus OLED. It just doesn't pop like the Alienware. Don't get me wrong, it's still pretty cool. Yeah, I get you. It's on the 24 pin? Gotta be in a different spot then. Gigabyte does that to me all the time too when I have to RMA Gigabyte boards. They're like, that does a picture of your serial number. Fellow Linux folk are starting to get angry with the new proof of age installing the OS that is all over the news. Oh boy. Yeah, that honestly sounds like you got problems with that board if that's happening with your slots and your headers. That's the one good thing about Asus motherboards, you don't have to RMA them as much. Oh, this guy's telling me that he has an Asus motherboard that he's having troubles with. I want a new motherboard and an RTX 3060. Yeah, I mean, you might even be able to just RMA the motherboard, to be honest. But you'll have to track down the serial number to do that. BIOS is updating. Just waiting on that. Still got that 4070 in the closet. I love that little card. I don't know what to do with it. Sell it, get some of your money back before the market flips. Oh, I'm sure somebody could use it out there if you sell it. Get a little bit of money for it and get some money back, put it towards something else. That's what I would do. In that scenario. Me nowadays, my upgrades just get donated to something. So my old components from upgrades get donated to stuff, or people in the family, or friends, or whatever it might be. They're just, I don't even care anymore. That's where I'm at. I use the 1050 Ti and overclock to 4.5 gigahertz. Holy shit. That is somehow stable. Yeah, I have no idea. It must. What are you using to overclock it? Is it like MSI Afterburner, or what? What are you using there? I'm old school. I keep my PC boxes in my office for 2 years before I toss them. Oh yeah, you don't ever want to walk in here. You'll see so many stupid boxes that I have here that I shouldn't have. It's kind of dumb. Easier to sell complete PC than parts here in the UK. Yeah, that makes, well, doesn't make sense actually. Must be a smaller niche out there, over there in the UK. Here in the US, you list a part, and it's, if you list it for the right price, it might be gone within a matter of minutes. Yeah, MSI Afterburner, that's what I was thinking. Oh, I got no room in my trailer. I bought 2 great big storage bags, and I have all my monitor. I have all my monitor and PC boxes on the front porch. Hey. Yeah, there's no reason to keep them, to be honest, unless you want to keep them for nostalgic reasons. I like coming across old stuff like that when I'm cleaning out the garage, etc., and I'm like, oh man, this is my GTX 1070 Ti box when I bought my 1070, or my 1070, not Ti, my regular just 1070. Like that card was the shit back then, and blah blah blah. And even going further back, my GX, I think it was a GX, or was it a GTX? I think it was just a GX. 465, which is, if you remember, it was like a 256 megabyte or 512 megabyte graphics card. Megabytes, by the way, not gigabytes. No internet. I hate this. Gigabyte Control Center is so retarded. If you run the Gigabyte Control Center first, it like tells you, oh, no internet connection. You have to like complete Windows updates, and then it will let you actually do the updates from the stupid Gigabyte Control Center. I don't know why it does that. I keep meaning to make a video about that because I'm sure there's like a bazillion people that build PCs for the first time and they run into that problem where they're like, oh, I installed the control center and it just says to update from here. And then it tells me no internet connection, even though I have an internet connection. And why does it do that? And here's why, and how to fix it. Probably be a really helpful video. I like to keep them for a while in case I have to send them back to Amazon. I mean, you can send it back without the box. I didn't build a PC for 20 years. I gave it away for some kids so you could play Minecraft. It didn't work, so they wound up throwing it in the garbage. I wish I still had it just to look at it. Yeah. I mean, I don't have any of my old PCs anymore. Those are all long gone. I just dispersed them. And I wish I kept them because I have a old Alienware here that has an AGP slot. And it doesn't display. I'm pretty sure the graphics card's shot. So I need an AGP card. I looked up AGP cards and I thought they'd be pennies on the dollar. And they're not. They are stupid expensive. So I'm like, I can't justify buying an AGP card just to see if the thing will fire up. It's like the one that I would put in there, which is like one of the best AGP cards out, is like $200 or $300, and I'm like, oh, that's insane. It's insane. It's not cooler, but I did add some thermal pads and some parts that didn't have any. Most of the people who buy PCs in the UK are Fortnite kids that want RGB boxes to show off to their friends. Oh yeah, definitely. They never look at PC specs. Could be a Dell Optiplex with some RGB light strips. And then I get asked why their PC they paid $300 for is slow. Well, let's go into the details. I did turn a bunch of Dell Optiplexes into workstations and low-end gaming PCs, though. I used to do that too. I used to take Dell, I think it was the MX, or I can't remember the sizing series for Dell, but it's like the MX series, I think it is, which is the full mid tower, or not the full, but the mid tower case build. Used to buy those all the time for like 20-30 bucks. Add an SSD, add some RAM, maybe change out the cooler depending on, you know, what CPU was in there, and also add a decent graphics card. And also, depending on if the power supply had the right options, it would be limited to which graphics card you can add to it. So but I mean, yeah, that was an easy way to make a cheap budget gaming PC back then, and you still could do that today. Honestly, it's not gone. It's just something I just don't do anymore because I just don't have the time. I mean, in the end, you'd probably be making like $30-50 off of that, and for the amount of time it takes to go through and do all the work and get it prepped, installed, set up, ready to go, tested, it's just not worth the time. It's not unless you're doing, like, I guess 50 of them at a time. There's an Amazon reseller or a seller on Amazon that literally that's all they do is they take Dell boxes, Optiplex boxes, and they convert them to gaming PCs and sell them as gaming PCs on Amazon for not terrible pricing. And that's a really good way to get like a young kid into PC gaming for the first PC. A really inexpensive way for a mom and dad to get them a cheap gaming PC. It's not going to look the greatest, but we'll get the job done. Yes, PSU wattage, that's always the challenge. So you gotta find the lower wattage graphics card, which, by the way, those RTX 5050s look really nice for that scenario. But used to be the GTX 1650 4 gig, or the 1050 2 gig, really back in the day, far back in the day, were like perfect cards to go into those systems. But I haven't done it in so long, I don't even know what card you used. So what would be the right card for that system? I don't know. RTX 5050? What's the lowest wattage card you could find that has the most amount of VRAM? Nice. Yeah, 500-pound profit. Not too shabby. So that would be your targeted audience, is like a mom and a dad buying a gaming PC for their kid and don't want to spend a ton of money, but that would work for them. Something like that. RTX 3550 is popular but terrible cooling, I know. You'd have to add some sort of fan, which is very doable in that case. You could add a fan, pop the bottom brackets out, pull some fresh air in. I don't know. We're actually just waiting on Windows updates to be completed here, but we could take off whenever you guys want. It's getting late. It's 12:15. I should actually jump off. Late enough for me. All right. Well, that being said, guys, I know Tony says, you know, honestly, I spent most of my time on YouTube. I just love to look at my PC. Both of them, I love it. Nice. I mean, as long as you're happy with it, man. I started building in 2004, upgraded it until 2007, was running video cards. I had 8 gigs of RAM, and that was huge at the time. Yeah, I know it was. Anyone I had about 3 or 4 grand into the pieces of junk, and now it's garbage. It's actually, like I was just talking about, some of those older components are really expensive, especially the higher end ones, because they're hard to get, and people still want to build nostalgic machines like that. So there is a niche for it, and selling them on eBay would be the most profitable option. And I wish I never got rid of my box of AGP cards, because I had a huge box of them. And it was at a time where it was like they were worthless almost. So I wish I kept them. Not because I wanted to resell them, but because I had nostalgic purposes behind them. Now, all right, that's it for me, guys. I'm done for the night. I'm gonna call it a night here. We could try to squeeze in a build stream probably Tuesday or Wednesday next week. I've got a lot of builds to do that are... I've got 3 builds to do that are all inventory builds, parts that I've pieced together to put together to sell, and I just haven't had the time to do them, and honestly that's pathetic because I haven't been doing a lot of builds lately. I've been doing a lot of service, but it's been slow, so we'll have to start digging into those, doing those. But that's all I've got for the night, guys. You guys have a good weekend, and I will see you guys on Tuesday or Wednesday, or at some point next week if things change. Make sure to follow the Discord if you want to keep in touch. It's the best way to figure out when the next stream's going to be, because right now it's just really slow. I don't have a lot of builds coming in. Got lots of estimates out there, but nobody really wants to spend the money because they're, you know, they get the estimate and then their jaw hits the desk and it bounces back up, and then they have to recover from that for like a week before they respond to anything. So, yes, good night, Some Giant Idiot. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Appreciate y'all hanging out, watching Jake's PC being built. We'll see you sometime next week. Have a good weekend, guys.